because through this vital energy we feel oneness with you. Hindus are so smart. They have ritualized this in a regular habit. I see you, we are a stranger. I remind myself, no, you are not really a stranger, you are me. And therefore I bow to you in that unity that I feel with you. What a religion you have been born into. What a religion I have been born into. What luck. I didn't do anything to be born a Hindu. And still I am a Hindu. Isn't that wonderful? And so therefore, now that we know the importance of this mudra, what do we go? We go around the world teaching people. And people are more and more recognizing the power of this mudra. You'll see many, many people today all over the world doing this. Obama certainly did that. Did you see? Many times he knew, he knows. People are learning in this way. So we bring the vital energies into the practice of medicine. These same vital energies can heal. If there is an imbalance of the chakras, I can bring my energized palm with the intention that let the imbalance be removed. It doesn't quite work with yourself, by the way. Why doesn't it? Because what Dr. Hammer says, we are conflicted biologically. We do not have always this healing wish. Like Krishnamurti used to say, how many of you have ever not felt suicidal? It turns out that nobody can say that I have never felt suicidal. We always have this death wish. Huge problem, biological conflict. And therefore you are not your best healer. In these terms, you are your best healers. You just have to know that you need another person too. So what do? You tell your friend, hey, would you cooperate with me and do this healing mutually? And then you rub your palm, you do him, and he rubs his palm, and he does you. That's the way to remove the imbalances of the chakras. Such a simple practice. What are you really doing? This is important to ask. So we have this huge domain of potentiality. How does it come to us? We are not conscious of it, right? Conscious in the sense of awareness. I separate from you. We do not see the objects in the unconscious in that aware way. In the unconscious, there is no separateness. The domain of potentiality is what psychologists call unconscious. It's unaware, domain in which we are unaware of the objects. In that domain, there is the healing wishes. In that domain, there is also the disease wishes. So what are we trying to do? By putting our intention of healing, we are directing those potentialities more towards healing than towards disease. We are trying to create a confluence of the healing possibilities and move away from the possibilities that would create disease. This is what we are doing. Now, is this any different than what the Ayurvedic physician does? Notice what the Ayurvedic physician is doing. Ayurvedic physician takes a medicinal plant and then feeds you that medicinal plant. He or she has learned from empirical data that this particular medicinal plant is useful for this particular disease. And here, disease is to be defined not at the source of the material body. This is where the materialists make the mistake. To them, everything is just a problem with the molecules. No. Things could be problematic with the molecules, but it also could be a problem of morphogenetic field, those things that guide the programs of the molecules, and even maybe the connection between the two. How the morphogenetic fields are connected is correlated. They are the blueprints of the organs. They are the templates of what organs are expressing. And this, why they become disconnected? Because the organs have entropy. Physical world has entropy, and so organs are bound to deteriorate. So the bones are not working, the joints are not working the way they're supposed to. So it has become diseased, and why? Because the morphogenetic fields that are correlated with the healthy organ, now the organ has become unhealthy, defective, cannot connect anymore. This lack of connection. Can you change an organ? Yes, you can by surgery, but that's a huge thing. But Ayurvedic physician discovered that, well, I can also change it by simply feeding you other morphogenetic fields that come naturally with plants, and so they will just feed you this. And what does that do? You have a bunch of possibilities of morphogenetic fields. It feeds you additional possibilities, and now these additional possibilities help you to find the healing possibility as a permutation and combination of all the possibilities in the unconscious. So the first trick that we learned is to wait, just that being. Now we are learning another trick, which is to feed additional stuff. And then that too will join the unconscious and gives us bigger possibilities to choose from. This works for thinking, it works also for vital energy. And with hands-off healing, that's what precisely you are trying to do. You are feeding additional vital energy possibilities to your friend that will go into the unconscious and enable consciousness to choose from a bigger pool of potentiality. It's as simple as that. Simple creativity. This simple creativity we call situational creativity. Creativity designed for a specific purpose. It's not very difficult. More difficult creativity is that which will require a true quantum leap into the archetype itself. Quantum healing. Like when you have cancer and you want to be healed, like the case that Dr. Dhruva showed with so many huge cancer. And there you have to really heal the immune system back into action. And that requires much more effort than just hands-off healing or just Ayurvedic medicine one time. No, it requires much, much more creative action. So that's called fundamental creativity. Okay? So through a combination of creativity at these various levels, situational and fundamental, we begin to heal ourselves. First, we start with simple situational. What does that mean? That means that you can watch yourself getting sick out of a cold. Do this. It's quite simple. You know, you detect yourself that you are catching a cold. And you start with the intention to prevent it. Can you prevent it? Yes, you can prevent it. You can learn to this situational way of bringing in new vital energies to not having a cold. You can also take a very positive attitude. That's where beliefs come in. We talked about biology of belief in Dr. Dhruva's presentation. Placebo. Yes, placebo is a big part of alternative medicine. So in that way, we already learned to become healers. There is also another part of healing that I would want to emphasize here, because we have so many physicians of healing, which is that, look, what the ultimate relationship between a healer and a healee, the person who is being healed, should be. Because ultimately, what is the healer doing? And why is the healer doing what he or she is doing? Ask yourself, why am I a healer? You might say, well, I'm just making money. No, healing is just too dedicated, and people just cannot work 18 hours a day sometimes because you want to make money. There's so many wonderful ways of making money. If you want to make money, play the Sensex. Very quick. You will make millions of rupees if you play the stock market. Healing, some of your clients don't even pay you. It's not that rewarding a profession. So it's not money. Then why are you attracted? Because you know that you too need to be healed. Every healer also wants to be healed. At a deeper level, you know that by helping someone, you will be helping yourself. Why do I teach? Ask Swamiji, why does he teach? Because you are not isolated. How can you go around happy when you see other people to be unhappy? If you see other people unhappy, how can you go around happily? It's impossible. And therefore you teach. You teach people how to be happy. So a healer is a healer because he or she knows that to achieve wholeness is very important, and this wholeness has to be shared. How can I share the wholeness? By establishing a tangled hierarchical relationship with the person that I'm healing. What does that do? That does a miraculous thing. This person who has come to you for health, that person cannot manifest the creative process very well because that person lacks concentration, that person lacks the capacity of meditating. It's well and good to say that meditation has wonderful effects to enable you to do various things, like Dr. Duma was showing that huge list. But you know what? People who are sick cannot meditate. People who are sick cannot concentrate. This is part of the sickness. So what is the job of the healer? Healer lends his or her consciousness to the healee. And now together they can meditate. Together they can go through the creative process of do, be, do, be, do. And together they take the quantum leap of healing. So in this way, the physician contributes. I was talking to some homeopathic physicians last night, and they have already caught on to this idea of quantum healing. I was very, very pleased that already people are doing this in the practices of alternative medicine, integrative medicine. This revolutionizes things, this ability to do things with ideas. Quantum worldview is just an idea. How to bring about its power in our day-to-day life, then quantum worldview. Then we have done something towards enriching the noosphere. Then truly we have lived projects like that. It's wonderful to participate in a big meditation with a lot of people. You feel very high, but then you go home, just like this conference. Wonderful speakers, and we learn and we become high. We can do anything. How long does that feeling last? Sadly, not very long. And then what? Then you are still there with this negative emotional brain circuits. You are still there with this problem of how do I transform myself? Make that the basis of the creative investigation of these archetypes. Wholeness, love, abundance, that one is important for business people. Goodness, that one is important for everyone. Beauty, truth. And that changes our lives because every one of them, as ancient people thought, as all religions respect and obey, these are the ways to divinity. How do we become God? How do we make God from potentiality to actuality in our life? One way is to learn what we are about. Where does Nasruddin live? That is important. You find that Nasruddin lives nowhere eventually. There's no place you can localize consciousness. We are that whole thing. But that's only one way. We can also concentrate on the world, to our fellow human beings, and heal them, teach them, learn to live with them in peace, in totality, in wholeness, manifest. That's another way. And there's two ways of enlightenment. We have to bring that in this land where enlightenment was discovered, I think. I may be overrating Indian spiritual tradition, but that's my belief. We did it like, what, at least 8,000 years ago? Now, okay, so, turnabout is fair play. Westerners have discovered science. Much before, hundreds of years before Indians become aware of it. But now we are integrating. So East is East, West is West. Can the two meet? Yes, two can meet. Right here, right now. And this is the way to do it. Integrative medicine is showing us the way. Let's become quantum doctors, each one of us. Thank you so much.